At the center of the empire, notions of laboring women as inferior to those who were closer to the signs of respectability were established, then successfully transported out to the colonies. This framework was used by whites to create a boundary and establish a hierarchy of social positions, which presented an outward illusion that whites were morally superior, respectable, and the pinnacle of humanity. This was despite the obvious incongruity of owning and brutalizing slaves. Anim Addo, 2007, Bernard, 2004-20. However, it was overcome by denying that Africans were indeed human. Karen Wilkes, Whiteness, Weddings and Tourism in the Caribbean, Paradise for Sale, Chapter 4, Procuring White Femininity in the Colonies, page 95. I Ghana Art School in Merida in 2005. By 2008, I'm tired of being the only black person, the only black woman there, and all what that entails, so I left. But by 2011, I realized I'm in need of licenciatura, so I gone back. In the thick of the forest, we became maroons, always returning to the water to say thank you. At the edge of rivers, above the waterfalls, we became cimarrones, navigating waterways to liberation, giving libation to YaYa and going back for others. We are coastal people. Shorelines are the site of our refusal. On both sides of the ocean, we refused. In the middle of the ocean, we refused. On the bottom of the ocean, we refused. Teju, Adisa-Farrar, All Mermaids Are Black, page 33, Root Work Journal, Volume 1, Issue 2. You could believe them people tell me that they never remember who me, they never had no records of me at all at a university. Escuela Superior de Artes de Yucatan. Now if that not tell you about how we invisibilize black women in an art world, in an art school, I don't know what could tell you. I don't know what could tell you. The post-colonial scholar Walter Rodney writes that colonialism introduced a system whereby men entered the money sector more easily and in greater numbers than women. Women's work became greatly inferior to that of men within the new value system of colonialism. Men's work was modern and women's was traditional and backward. Therefore, the deterioration in the status of African women was bound up with the consequent loss of the right to set indigenous standards of what work had merit and what did not. Emma Dabiri, Don't Touch My Hair, Chapter 2, Ain't Got the Time, page 74. So what do you think I do? I just come right back to Belize and decide I will just be an artist anyways. And it no matter who recognize me or not, who have records, who have my grades, who invite me to the museum or not to the exhibits, I'd still an artist. Women of color in America have grown up within a symphony of anger at being silenced, at being unchosen, at knowing that when we survive, it is in spite of a world that takes for granted our lack of humanness, and which hates our very existence outside of its service. And I say symphony rather than cacophony because we have had to learn to orchestrate those furies so that they do not tear us apart. We have had to learn to move through them and to use them for strength and force and insight within our daily lives. Those of us who did not learn this difficult lesson did not survive. And part of my anger is always libation for my fallen sisters. Audre Lorde, Uses of Anger, Women Responding to Racism. Penguin Modern, number 23. Audre Lorde, The Master's Tools Will Never Dismantle the Master's House, page 29. And you know why? I do my work for myself. I do my work for honor my ancestors. I do my work for black women and for black girls. I do my work for see myself and for make dance to themselves. Because I remember the first time I hear dancehall queen, Pampatra, and I realized, yeah, black woman could be queen too. Oh. Black women's history travels in whispers and memories, recalled around the dining table by mothers and grandmothers, and it often dies when those voices leave us. The power of these stories is that they make us feel less alone and give us the courage to act by providing us with a blueprint. Lola Olufemi, Feminism Interrupted, Disrupting Power, Chapter 1, Know Your History, page 10. This no easy, you know. In fact, it's very, very hard. And sometimes I don't say how. But sometimes though, out of the blue, I get one message and one whisper. Just keep going. Due to the continual inhumane treatment experienced by dark-skinned women from white British oppressors, women, children, and men whose homes were cleaned, whose clothes were washed, whose foods were cooked, and whose white-skinned babies and children were nursed and cared for primarily by black-skinned black women, our sisters felt justified when encouraging their black lovers, husbands, brothers, uncles, sons, family members, and friends to rise up and rebel in the face of the unequal treatment. The horrific realities of black people in 1919 were intentionally created within the white supremacy infrastructure by European oppressors, similarly as it continues today in Belize. Delmer Tzib writes The 1919 Revolution, edited by YaYa Marin Coleman, page 6.